back to the Overboard DM. My name's Cujo and I go overboard on everything Dungeons and Dragons. And today I have Encounter 8, it's the Savage Gorge. Um, Obviously this is another big encounter. It looks beautiful. I'm going to throw some pictures up from different angles, because I have my camera fixed right now, so I'm going to have a couple right here. Hopefully pop up a couple different angles that I took before I break this set down for you. Now this is a water element kit. You're going to have the train trays. You got a large 12 by 12, and there's another smaller. I think it's a 4 by 6, or I think maybe it's a 6 by 12. I have to look at it when we break it down. You also get a couple little ones right here. I only got the one out, but actually I think it comes with two, and I'll show you what they're for later. Alright, where do we start with this thing? I'm going to start by saying this was a stressful build. I have built this before when I first got it, and they dropped all the breakdowns online on their website on how to recreate the kit exactly. So if you were trying to just build this yourself with all the pieces in the box, and you just open it up and try to build it, you're not going to have a fun time. You're not going to understand how in the heck to do it. I was excited to show this one off, to finally get to this one, because this is one that looks really cool. You got this rope bridge, and you got some lizard men, in the water. You have, having water elements is really nice, and I love the way they did it. But this kit, I'll go over some of the things that I just feel like there's other ways to do it. This kit's still good. The pieces are still high quality, and it's still a good kit. But I think that it's not intuitive the way that they threw this one together with the pieces that they gave you. How do I say this? It looks better than you'll probably do with it on your own. The pieces don't flow, and it's hard to explain. So let me just get into it. I'll start with some of the things you will never do. Is this backside over here? This passageway. You've seen these before. Good pieces, but they're floating on some upside down stilts, and these stilts are a large and then a single to get that right elevation, and that makes sense and everything. But it is crazy to try to balance these pieces, just by setting one out and then trying to get it just right so that you can get the next piece to balance on it. It could have been done better. You'll never end up doing that, just so you know. So that's the back end. Now let's go to this side. It's got a little more similar going on. They had to raise this up with one of those as well. Actually two small ones, and it is magnetized, so it does help, and it will balance. But this piece is nice chunky piece, and it makes it level with that, so that it does one of those numbers. But with all this trickery and balancing going on, I wouldn't want you to touch that passageway over there. I'd be super careful with your miniatures. Same thing with this one over here. This is like a teeter-totter, and boom, it's down. Hey, be careful with that. There's a lot more in this kit that's like, hey, be careful with that. Don't want you to knock it over. So there's that. Before I get too far into it and I start breaking all this down, WizKids had a little boat, so you can try to see for scale. I think this came with the Kraken. It holds, you can kind of squeeze a couple, you can really try to squeeze 4 miniatures in there. But not in this kit. Dwarven Forge has their own boat, and you can easily fit your party in that one. It's got, it's got peg holes for different mounts. I don't have everything here. It has some oars and stuff. And if you have a bigger party, you can just get a bigger boat. Now in this particular scene, there's not a lot of room for a boat, obviously, especially that large. And actually the water is coming out from underneath. If you've seen in the couple of the pictures I threw up, you might see this piece over here where the water's coming from under there and kind of flooding out into this area. And if you had more terrain trays, which I do have, you can set up a lot more water, and then they give you one of these extra walls. You can keep running the walls along the water, and if you have more, obviously they only give you one, so you're not gonna be doing that too much. But there is a couple extra pieces, so whenever they give you something like a trifecta piece, they usually always give you the piece that goes with it, just so you know. We'll go from there. Alright, now let's start breaking this down some more. Alright, let's start with the bridge so we don't get that to fall down there. The bridge is nice. I love the way it looks. Nothing wrong with the bridge. It won't look like the pictures that much. It's a little bit more stiff. It's got like 3 sections. It's kind of weighted on the ends here. These are magnetized ropes. Well, the ends are magnetized anyway. And you can get a little sag into it if you bend it, but it wants to bounce back. It's nice, so you can make it shorter if you want. This all comes apart. I'm gonna just keep it together. It's just pins. I'm gonna try to take some apart here just so you can see it. I don't want to take it all apart, but you got your pins, and you can make it the size you want. Alright. Let's see. Well, you got a lot of freestanding walls on this edge right here. Some of them are trifecta pieces that, they're just using the wall, like this one here. You've got that door that I was talking to you about in another video. They're using it as a freestanding wall, and then you put a wall piece in there, and now you got your nice freestanding wall section with no door. So I mean, that's exactly how you use it. Multiple uses for all these pieces. And here's another one of those large curves, and yet another freestanding wall there. And in the middle here we got some stalactite and a rock formation, and this kind of is meant to kind of cradle together a little bit and look kind of natural. I mean, you can put them this way, put them, they don't have to be close together at all. It's got a kind of a squared off edge a little bit, but kind of hiding it to where you can tuck it into a corner if you want. I like these pieces a lot. They could be set out on a piece of flat terrain, and it's just a little rock formation that you can climb up on it. I love that scatter type terrain. Another mini stalactite, and we have another large one. And then here's another one of those larger rock formations that you can set anywhere. In this case, they were using it to kind of cap off an area, and this whole thing looks janky. As far as there's different levels, and there's pieces that I have in other kits that I can probably help make this a lot better and make it look a little bit better. I mean, but if you look in here, it's just kind of weird when you're putting it together by the directions. There's very little room for miniatures in here and back down in here, You can barely get a miniature anyway. It's cool. There's a pathway. I see what they're doing, but it's very narrow, and a lot of bases aren't going to fit. Um, because some bases are just slightly bigger than others, just by a tad. It's not a true 25 millimeter. It's a 1 inch, or what is it? Um, and then sometimes people's arms and weapons and whatnot are sticking out and protruding past that base size, so they're not going to fit in here in some of this areas. I mean, so for how cool this scene is, there's a lot of places that is not playable if you're playing by the squares, and you're using your movement strategically. Let's go ahead and get these guys out of the middle. These are really cool. Lizard folk that are coming out of the water, and nice little miniatures that come with it. Already showed that. Get rid of these other. Already showed you. We had one of these, and we have some of these stalactites. It's a I don't know. It's like a, I don't know what you want to call them. They're just a 3 in a row. They use these a lot to help with transitions, to make the wall kind of blend. Like they're using it as a wall, even though they're stalagmites, and you take that out, and then now you're seeing that you get this cliff, and then these kind of really make a cascading wall if you kind of do them like that. You have this nice 2x2 block, but it's got like a natural type climb to it. Really nice. I'll compare these to some other blocks here later that are 2x2 that are more squared off, more for building. This is more for getting that natural mountain type look, or cliff. You got a bunch of these in this set. These nice corner fillers. I think you got 4 that come with it. There's one over here that's an extra. A couple more extra pieces. It's going to have that little cave type entrance. You got one over here where the water's coming through, so you're going to have 2 of these. And don't know where else to look here. A couple more standard type pieces here. There's that chimney, and here's a nice natural looking, I call it a C, or a way to just transition your natural looking cliff face. Just building blocks. Just Legos for adults, right? So I'm trying to see here. Here's another one like these trifecta pieces I showed you earlier that goes with that big curve, and how they're using it. You can see there on the edge of that cliff. You cap it off, and looks pretty nice. You can still see some of the terrain tray poking out. I don't like that. You can try to manipulate it, but you'll constantly be taking it apart and moving and sliding things, and everything's magnetic, but then you got to make sure that you're not falling off the tray. So it's cool, but like I said, if you're building this yourself, you're probably going to be building it a little bit different. Again, here's some of those little pieces we talked about in some other videos that make sense when you're trying to make it look good. This is a unique piece here. That one corner is taken up by that large wall, so it makes a nice inside corner, a real sharp one. Really cool piece. A lot of details. You're only going to get a couple floors in this one. There's a lot of open water space in this one, in this set, and you don't get many floor tiles. So if you're looking for floor tiles, then this is not the one for you. This set's going to have a lot of freestanding walls like this, and it's going to have a lot of, it's really a mixed bag, because as you're seeing as I'm bringing everything out of here, you're going to get some like cliff face, you're going to get like some small floor tiles, not very many. Again, like just a couple edges of the cliff. And here is that tile or that, oh, there's 3 train trays, I'm sorry. You can use it as another water tray or an acid tray. In this case, if you're just building it for a stand, you don't care what's on it. And you just make your legs. And this is how it was sitting right there. So set that aside. You're gonna get a bunch of stilts in this set. A lot of stilts, a lot of small ones and large ones. And then you get this nice cliff here, real nice chunky piece, 4 by 2 by 3 on an angle. Really nice. It's only got the one bad side, so you're primarily going to be using it that side. And they did it kind of cleverly. They have this other piece that goes with that one door, and this, when it sandwiches on there, you're going to get that extra height, and then you're going to get a really nice look. And they did that on purpose, and it could probably be put on top as well, and it looks really natural looking and it blends in. So that is really nice. There's a lot of good pieces in this set. And they did the same thing with this little piece here that's also a trifecta piece. They've got this piece that fits kind of naturally for like a cliff or some kind, and they both can flip over and go the other way. Looks really good. It's a good job on that one. And then you got this one, another big chunky cliff face that it kind of wraps around a large square. Now if I bring out this one here, it works with that one, and it'll have that natural incline here. But if you got your back of the wall, your edge of the board is right there, you probably wouldn't want this one. You might want to go with one of these other standard blocks that I'll talk about in a minute. But this also is the same height as this here. So if you're trying to build a rocky wall face, it's only so yay big, you can just keep on going with it. Can't really wrap it. You can wrap it here, but then you're going to be missing a section there. So still really nice pieces. I'm not even mentioning the detail of the some of the cracks. You're going to have that green stuff. You're not going to have any on the one side, but you're going to have some on the other side. You're going to have one corner, and I don't call these corners, or even though they kind of technically are, but there you go. You will get 2 of these. We had a couple of these in the last set, if you're watching all my videos. Again, like I said, the more you buy, the more you're going to have. And these are going to be your inclines. They're using one to incline over on this side to come up to this back area, and using the other one to incline up this side. So just some ways that you can use them. You're going to get one LED piece that they don't even use as an LED in this particular build. I'm pretty sure I built it to the letter here. And this has a LED socket on this side, and it has a crystallized type formation there, and it comes with a torch. But they had it facing the opposite to off the board. So I'm assuming they just weren't using it in this particular scene. And you get one bank, just one square bank, not a curved bank or any kind of inside curve, outside curve. And that's typically to go down to a water tile. Now it's really weird. I mean, when you haven't built this in a while, and you don't, if you have all these different kits, you don't know what's come with what, because you got everything. So I've got to dig out all the pieces that came with the set and then rebuild it, and then you kind of realize what actually came with that kit. And to only get one of these, it's useless in this if this is all you bought. So you'll want to buy some banks for sure to complement this one piece, because when you set it down, you can technically use stuff like this. You'll have to build kind of funky off of it. You can't, it's kind of like an edge. It's not the same as all the other banks that are intended for it. You can't use stuff like this here. And I'm just going to throw a couple things. It's going to be offset because the bank is actually longer. So if you try to get it right or back on track, it's kind of sticking out. So that's why I said it's almost useless. I wonder if it pretty much is. It's not useless for me. I have a bunch of different pieces. And I put all my banks together. I put them all my water and river stuff together. This is a transition piece from the old style rivers and water terrain tiles that they used to make, which has like a little light blue on each side of it. I actually bent this one backwards a little bit, and I've got some bubbling in the center here, so I'm going to have to pop that. But it was a little bit warped, and I just tried to bend it backwards a little bit and see that like there's a little fine film that's kind of bubbling. But this is supposed to transition you from the rivers that you make in the older sets, and then it's pouring down into your terrain tray. So it looks good. It comes with it, and it's really is nice. You're not going to use this at all pretty much, except for exactly where we had it, something like that, where it's coming off the screen or off the board. If this is the only set you have, this is almost useless as well, except for doing that, using it as at a board edge. What I'm looking for is that one piece that, here it is. They had it like this or something like that. Oh, a little bit off here. And so it looks like the water's coming out of a mountainside or something. You get two of these, which is those cliff faces that you can build walls with or stack or just use as filler. They were pretty much using them as filler, and it was amazing they were actually using them to the back side facing out, which for the most part nobody's going to see the inside. But I don't know if it was just the directions were bad or that's how it was intended. Like I said, you get a bunch of these small stackers, whatever you want to call them, stilts. And just so you know how tough these are, I mean, I'll throw them around. You want to play catch with them, we'll go outside and I'll throw them overhand to you. I mean, it's not a problem. I mean, if we were outside, if we were outside, I threw them overhand and you missed it and it fell into the street and tumbled about 10 feet or 20 feet. I'm gonna have probably nicks on the corners of stuff and the paint's gonna come off. But I'm not worried about this ever breaking. I'll run this over with my car. It's not gonna break. Like I said, you only get a couple floor tiles, literally 3 or 4. So this is not the set for that. You're gonna get a couple more of these, and you do get this great piece right here. I kind of almost saved it for last. I think they call it the Stairway to Violence. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they call it with the top on it or just the bottom, but I think this is what they call it. That's a great hefty piece. It's beautiful. You're going to be able to use that in a lot of different situations. See, if you try to build off it, it's a little bit taller. Typically, you can if you really wanted to build off it, you could. You just have to do this kind of thing. It's not really what it's intended for, so it's not really going to work. It's really intended for to be a platform that you can even build higher off of, or you can, like the bridge was set up to come off of this and go to another piece of ground. It's to get elevation. It's usually not to build off of as a structure. But it's a really nice piece, really good looking. You got a couple steps on it to role play out going up. Can't unless you want to try to use your ropes and climb up the top here. It's not crazy tall, but it's meant to have another piece that goes on it that you don't get with this kit. It goes on top of it, and it doubles the size, and it makes a stair even higher. So really cool piece. Let's see, a couple more small pieces. You get this couple of these little itsy bitsy pieces. I call them fiddly bits. They always go down to the bottom of your bin. You're trying to find them, and they're just to make it look better. Just to make some of those hard edges look smoother and look more natural. Alright, get rid of those stilts. Get another one of those, and coming down to these last two cubes. Now they look, they're detailed, but they're very square because they're really meant to use as building blocks. But they're, they double in case you're seeing any type of edge when you're building it. It'll look halfway good and blend in. But they're also double as they're detailed on the inside, and that's because if your floor level is exactly the height of these square, most adventurers are going to think that that's a normal floor tile. I happen to have one. So if you've got your floor tiles here right at that same level, you actually can use this as a trap, and you have this or any other kind of train tray, if you will, or square. It's not really a tray. You have that underneath, and so if I can get the light to shine in there, but you can have your gibbering mouther pit. You can have it to be its quicksand. Obviously you need light to be able to tell what actually is in there. But it's kind of cool. Just another, and this also again doubles as, if you flip it over, it's doubled as like rough terrain. You can put it on top too, but it doesn't really want to go too nicely. Doesn't quite cover up the hole when you flip it over. So you get two of those, and they could just be hidden. They might be totally underneath your build just to get some height, but they're also useful. So that's it. I don't think I'm gonna waste too much more of your time. I'm almost at that 30-minute mark. So yeah, this is a really nice set. Couple key pieces in it that you'll really love and get a lot of uses out of. I'll just start throwing them out here as I talk. But you're gonna get some cool passageways. You don't got to use them like they did. You're gonna get that cool transition piece if you need it. If you get some older sets, a lot of these pieces like this here are really nice to go with all your passages. Just to throw one together while I'm talking. If you're into passages and really playing it out, you can do a little bit and connect just like that. But this set's actually meant for using the train trays themselves and using that water element. That's why you bought this. You want to use the bridge, and so you have pieces for building. You've got your different, your decorative type building blocks for cliffs. Got a couple of those. There's another one. You got these which help you get elevation. You know, you're trying to use a bridge, you need to go up with it. You're going to get your freestanding walls. I'm just going to try to see how many I get. Let's see. You get about no, you get enough. Anyway, how do I sum this one up? Why would you buy this particular kit? You buy it for the bridge. You buy it for what's in it, right? You should buy any Dwarven Forge kit for what's in it. What are the pieces? Break it down. Do I want that? What else can I do with it? Hopefully if you're watching this video, you've watched some of my other ones, because this is a lot of pieces to rearrange and try to build something else out of, and it'll take a lot of time. But you want to know, what pieces do you get? You're going to get that bridge. Can you get this separately? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. I think you can get this piece separately. I'm not sure. You definitely can get these. You definitely can get some cliffs, or you can get cheaper kits that have what you need. And that's the whole thing, that when you're watching my videos, either you just love Dwarven Forge and just want to watch, you know, somebody go through all the pieces, or you're actually trying to learn on what's in that kit and do I want it. Because at the end of the day, this is how it's going to come, and then it's what do you want to build with the pieces that are in that kit. Are you going to build exactly what Dwarven Forge intended it for every single time? Absolutely not. You probably won't even use it one time, unless you just are not creative and it's the only thing you can think of is to build exactly what how they intended it for. But you probably won't be happy. I don't think I would. I mean, I don't think I would use exact what they built. I think I think I have tweaked it. The first time I put it together, I really tweaked it, and but I was able to also add some of my other pieces. So I love Caverns Deep. I don't want you to think I'm negative Nancy on all this stuff. I really like it, but when I start breaking down these kits to see actually what you get, I love all the pieces in general. I don't necessarily love the kits that they put together. Now, this is still a great kit, and if you see the pieces that you want, get it. You know, not many LEDs in this kit, not hardly any floor tiles, not a lot of standard walls, like standard I call standard wall pieces, a floor and a wall. You know, you're not gonna get a bunch of that. So if you're looking for that kind of thing, go a different way. A little bit of water train tiles or train trays. You can get those water train trays separately. It's a really cool when you look at it all put together, but when you break it down, how you gonna, you know, what are you gonna build? You can't have fun with it. It's a lot of pieces. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Let me know in the comments if you'd get this set. This is something that, you know, yeah, man, I can see myself building a whole bunch of different things with that. It looks great. Or nah, I think I'll go with something different. The bigger the kit, the more pieces you get and the more flexibility you have. So, alright guys, we'll wrap it up. And if you haven't visited our Discord, Tabletop Dungeoneers, if you haven't came over by now, I don't know what you're doing, because we're just having a great time over there, talking about all kinds of hobby stuff. And no, we hardly ever talk Dwarven Forge. We got a couple people over there, but we do a lot of minis, and a lot of people are into 40K. I'm actually bought the next Kickstarter, and it's mainly for 40K and Star Wars, Legion tabletop games. A lot of their terrain that they're coming out with in this next Kickstarter is going to be for tabletop gaming, which is great, and also D&D. So anyway, come on over there, check us out. And we got a bunch of YouTubers over there, and we're all doing kind of videos on Gaslands and you name it. All right, that's enough talking. Till next time, guys. Later.